Fantasising's one thing.
I've never looked back, though.
Right, can we just leave my mum out of this, please?
Well, he might not want to jump back in. He might want to hang up his boots, eh?
Well, he's putting me out to pasture now.
Well, that's another fantasy, isn't it? Pipe and slippers, highlights on the telly. You know, just kind of sitting there, nobody in your ear hole for the rest of your days.
I remember our 5th anniversary.
Kev's not ready for the glue factory yet. Is it, Kev?
Oh, yeah. Small angry mechanic recovering from cancer. They'll be queuing round the block.
Talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
Welcome to episode 377 of The Talk of the Street, an unofficial Coronation Street catch-up podcast that ranks the show picked the wrong podcast to get colonoscopies wrong at. I'm Gavin.
And you stole my thunder. And between Ollie's weird fake Americanism and...
That's a strong cup of coffee.
I finally found a British person whose American accent is worse than yours. And...
Awful.
Yes, between that and getting colonoscopies very, very wrong, I'd like to have a word with the writers, please.
I think the writers are relying on the fact that nobody knows a fucking thing about colonoscopies.
And everybody should, because colon cancer is one of the...
Excuse me.
It's one of the most prolific cancers in people around the world, and...
Now, we will get
to this. We'll get to this because
I'm imagining at great length.
Yes,
later.
Yes.
So I'm just going to try and drag us away from that for the moment and ask you.
If there's one thing I'm not
how are you
precious
this
about,
week?
it's poo. I'm fine, but kind of sick, kind of under the weather, kind of snuffly. So, but getting lots of stuff done in the house, which is nice. I finally got the snow village put away in October.
Yeah, October is the 10th month of the year. And finally the Christmas ornaments are away.
Yes. Well, you know.
Most of them.
Mental health. I think all of them. Oh, the wreath is still on the door.
And the big Christmas.
Right, yeah, but that is most... You'll notice that the Christmas rabbit is on the inside. I've turned it so it's just the red pattern.
Christmas rabbit.
That is showing.
Because nothing says Christmas more than a rabbit.
That is outside, and it's just because I don't like the idea of people seeing me walk up the stairs.
Nothing worse.
Nothing worse.
Pricks watching you walk
up the stairs in a towel.
No. Well, that adds a little bit of a frisson to it. Certainly. Well, I'm glad you're okay. I'm looking forward to getting stuck into that NyQuil later.
Yeah. I laid yesterday for most of the day. I laid in bed and read a Planet of the Apes novel and
oh, good God.
And watched a terrible Angelina Jolie movie in bed. So, good times. So yeah, it's been kind of an up and down week. But overall, if I've gotten the snow village put away, and I got the picture of the inn that we stayed in Maine hung up that we bought in June, then I think that's a successful week.
Very good.
Yes. How about you?
Well, at 6:30 this morning, I was at the supermarket buying toilet paper, so there's that. I tried to joke with the lady on the counter.
Again?
Yep. Guess what I ran out of? And she didn't say a word.
This is why you just use the automatic line so that you don't annoy anybody.
I was so early at the supermarket, they weren't open yet. So I had to go and speak to somebody. I didn't realise that we were that out of toilet paper. Or if we were that out of toilet paper, I would have got toilet paper when I was coming home last night.
Well, today is grocery day, so you would have been buying toilet paper today anyway.
I needed a shit. What am I supposed to do? Just hope that it's one of those miraculous ones that doesn't require a wipe, but you still wipe anyway just to be on the safe side?
Yes.
It's been years since I've had one of them. Anyway, this is
See, Gav is also not precious about poo.
charming, I'm sure.
Yes.
Shall we preamble, my dear?
Yes, please.
Give us some of that scatological Corrie news. I think I've definitely done that one before.
It's always good to repeat the oldies but goodies. Dr. Gadass brings her badass to Hollyoaks as Christine Mackey, the actor who plays our dear doctor, appeared as a judge in a recent episode.
I can see her being as a judge, but is it weird that she's appearing in something else and not as a doctor?
No.
I find that weird.
I think it would be weird if, like, she showed up and she wasn't in, like, one of the honored professions. Like, if she was working in a grocery store, that would be weird. Not that there's anything wrong with working in a grocery store, but...
Or if she was working on telephone lines.
Right, yes, that would be weird.
Like the Wichita lineman.
She suits one of those British judgy wig things.
Yeah, I can imagine so.
Yeah.
Good for her.
She's got the right bone structure for it.
What was her name in this?
I can't remember.
Okay, good.
I don't even know if she was named because she was just the judge.
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 She was just judge.
Judge.
Well, that works.
Judge.
Who watches Hollyoaks? Anyway?
Not me. Mason actor Luca Tulin has landed a new gig, saying it's very hush-hush, but we'll see him back on our screens in about 6 months. He's also done a short film based in medieval times, and he was talking about how excited he was that they made him a sword and stuff, and, and confessing that he's just a big old nerd. And I'm like, that's why we love you, kid.
He had a bit of a medieval haircut, I remember.
Yes.
And Corrie.
Yes.
Looked a bit like Baldric.
Yes. Yes, very much so.
That
yes.
kind of bullish
Yes.
sort of thing. Mm-hmm. No offense, like.
Yeah, yeah. Like a monk who didn't make it. So grew his bald spot out.
Did your mum finish her cornflakes before she cut your hair? That kind of thing.
And finally, an Emmerdale Easter egg was spotted at the Weatherfield police station in the form of a wanted poster for Dale Batty John Sugden, hinting...
Sugden.
Yes, what you said. Hinting...
Did you say Sugden?
I said Sugden, because that's how it's spelled. Sugden. Sugden. Dale Batty Sugden. John Sugden. To his friends.
It's getting better every time you say it.
Hinting at a possible storyline for the crossover episode. Woo!
Are you looking forward to the crossover event?
I don't fucking care.
You don't give a shit one way
I
or the
do
other.
not give a shit.
I realised as I was halfway through asking that question, she doesn't fucking care.
I don't think I've ever seen an episode of Emmerdale in my life.
You haven't? You
No,
have. You must
no.
have. You must have.
No. Why would I? I only
Why-
watch
why would you
Coronation
watch
Street
Coronation
for this.
Street?
For this, because we do a podcast.
But you watched Coronation Street before we did the podcast.
Only if you had it on
You'd
and I was
watched
in the
over
room.
my shoulder.
Yeah. To spend time with you.
Well, see where that got you.
I've watched grown beardy men play Wordle on YouTube just to spend time with you.
My secret shame. Let's move on quickly to the feedback section that I lovingly call Everyone's a Critic. It's all about a sense of superiority to watch these reasonably intelligent beardy men do Wordle and connections on the days that they don't get it, and I do.
Yes. Yes.
That's
I recognize.
Okay, good.
Like recognizes like.
Okay. Fair enough. What are we doing? Oh, a podcast.
Yes. About Coronation
Canadian
Street.
Helen writes in.
Oh.
We haven't heard from Canadian Helen in a little while.
Yeah.
She writes, I have some cool postcards to send you so that they can fill up your corkboard.
Nice.
But not like that.
But not like that.
I'm just waiting for the postal strike to be over. It's still on.
Yeah.
I went to the P.O. box today
Uh-huh.
and it was bare.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Canadian Helen, there is plenty of space to be filled up. It's not a huge corkboard, but
It's big
it's
enough.
a good one to start with.
Yeah. Aren't we expecting something from someone? Didn't somebody hint that they were going to send us something nice?
There were hints.
There were hints, so
Daisy, I think, was hinting at us last week.
Right, so it's taken a while, which is fine.
Then Sean Jenks writes, can I promote a talk I'm giving at Wigan Museum on October 18th? It's about Corrie and the town of Wigan and its many links. More details can be found on the museum website. Well, of course you can, Sean, and I asked Sean to give me some more information, and he hasn't responded. So I've looked into it myself.
Uh-huh.
But here's the blurb. The fictional suburb of Weatherfield and the very real town of Wigan have a lot in common. Cobbles, chimney pots and characters. Both are proudly northern and working class. This talk from Sean Jenks looks at the critical role that the town of Wigan has played in the success of the television institution that is Coronation Street. From the show's first wild child, the many Wigan Rovers return barmaids, the scriptwriter from Standish, and when the stars of the show came to visit the town. This talk also looks at the origins of the show and its influence on Germany. A talk not to be missed.
Germany was not. I was not expecting Germany.
No, nobody was.
No.
This is on Saturday, 18th of October. So that's next Saturday from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. at Wigan Museum, Library Street, Wigan. £3.50, includes a drink. You can book on Eventbrite or give them a call, 01942 828 128.
Very nice.
And then Tara writes, my moment of the week, watching Nick fumble that cake like he's in an infomercial. That infomercial comparison is something that I've been meaning to put together myself. Those ads that you see on YouTube of people who
fumble.
suddenly can't
All of a sudden, their hands don't work.
can't operate a grate and a piece of cheese, and
Right.
it goes everywhere, or
Right.
or they end up killing their dog, or something happens.
Right. Yes. Where
And it's always black and white.
It's the ones that gentleman does where he silently does the thing very easily and then goes like this.
Yes.
Who was for some reason in the Bad Boys 4 movie.
I have opened a carton of milk.
And not spilled it all over my person.
Right. Nick doing that was very much
It was hilarious.
infomercial being
Blah.
being a server, I guess. And Cheeky writes, it's pretty obvious to me that Debbie was the best this week. She was the only one really willing to tell the truth about the whole Abby, Carl and Kevin situation. I loved the scenes with Devendra finally letting out all of his grief at the potential loss of Asha. What phenomenal performance by both actors every time they had hospital scenes together. Finally, I think the thing that will put Coronation Street back on track as we move towards the end of the year is when they finally get rid of Theo and we get some new interesting dynamics of Eva and her husband and her daughter. That will be when the show becomes more like a community again. Hope you're both well. Hope you're well too, Cheeky. Thank you very much for writing in.
Yes, thank you, Cheeky.
And thank you to Tara, to Sean Jinks, and to Canadian Helen. Very much appreciate you taking the time.
Yes.
Feedback's always welcome. Send us your thoughts and I'll probably read them out. Get us at the talk of the street at gmail.com, or our DMs are open at Corrie Podcast. Or we love it, Helen,
We do.
when people write actual letters to us. You can send us your proper mail and postcards to the Talk of the Street, PO Box 12, Eaton Rapids, Michigan 48827. Please note that we reserve the right to edit feedback, but only in the interests of brevity. And now we'll podcast for coffee. We're drinking their own coffees this week. I think we have been embarrassed by the Richies
That's true.
over the last few weeks and months.
We haven't even gotten a new friend of the podcast in a while.
That's been a couple of weeks, yeah.
Yeah. I miss you playing the
I'd love to play it again,
the
but I can
fanfare.
only play it when
we get a new friend of the podcast, yeah.
You're speaking at the side of the microphone.
Yeah. Why is it like that? Why is it turned that way? Oh, that's better.
There you go.
There we go. All right, are you drinking
Soda Stream, Diet Pepsi.
Diet Pepsi? Yes. I was going to say that looks too dark to be ginger ale.
Who looks at that and thinks, let's drink this?
You.
Black. Let's drink black. Same with coffee. Who looks at that and thinks, well, that's enticing.
Right, yeah.
Nice cup of black, that'll do.
Especially when you think of black water, you don't think of Pepsi or coffee.
No.
No. You think sewage.
It all comes back to shit.
It does.
Which is what we've been doing on this podcast for 377 episodes.
I'm drinking pink grapefruit juice
Lovely pink grapefruit juice.
for my liver.
The Talk of the Street is and will always be free on your podcast provider and on the YouTubes, but if you think a show is worth anything more than the time it takes to listen to it, maybe not this week, and if you want to show your appreciation, or if you want more weekly and monthly content, here are your options. Sign up to be a friend of the podcast for as little as $2 a month. You can sign up at patreon.com/The Talk of the Street, ko-fi.com, that's ko-fi.com/The Talk of the Street, or hit the join button on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Talk of the Street podcast. We have made $10 on advertising on the London video so far.
Wow. Yes. Finally
Getting some
getting something
some
back
do-re-mi.
from London.
Again, not only has the horse bolted, but the stable is now an artisan bakery. Friends of the podcast get access to our weekly spoiler show, the Talk of the Street Spoiler Alert, and our monthly classic Corrie show, the Talk of the Street Classics. And if that wasn't enough, you also get a shout out at the end of every podcast and your name on the credits on the main show, aka the flagship. But if you prefer something a little less formal, you can also buy us next week's coffee by going to ko-fi.com/The Talk of the Street. All our links can be found at linktree/Corrie Podcast. But remember, you can always support the podcast for free, get us in front of new listeners by liking, subscribing, rating and reviewing wherever you get your podcasts.
Yes.
All right, shall we dive in, my dear?
Yes, please.
Our first storyline this week is the most racist careers fair in Manchester. I really need to change that.
You do.
On Monday, it seems that Dev and Bernie had their honeymoon at the Rape Hotel. Lovely stuff. She's still bothered about that Asha business, but Dev thinks that she's good as gold. Quite the contrary. She's talking to Billy at the shop. When he leaves, she grabs herself a bottle of vino and starts proper necking it because alcohol is the great solution.
It is.
Solution. Dev gets a green light to hang out with the boys while Bernie goes for some treatments at the hotel. So,
Right, they're trying to cheer Kev up in another storyline.
yeah. Back at the shop, Brody comes in, and I can't remember if he works there or not, but he catches Asha grabbing another bottle of vino. She asks him to look after the counter and tells him everyone has his back and he'll be all right. And she also said something... What was it? She said something to Billy about how she loved summer. So she's already saying things that are AKA getting her affairs in order.
Right, yes.
That Billy doesn't realise.
No, because
Brody certainly doesn't.
Right, yeah. Yeah. Which, one is understandable. The other, not so much.
Let's face it, both are understandable.
What is up with Brody's hair? Why do they refuse to allow that child to wash his hair on set? Why is his hair so gross?
Is it?
It's like clumpy and uneven and all over the place and looks very greasy.
I think that's styled that way. I think that's product that he's got in his hair to make it look like that.
I
That's
don't
what I
think
think.
so.
That's what I think.
they're-
I think that's
they
what the
try
youngsters are doing.
I think they try to make him look grubby on purpose, and I don't like it.
But he's not, because he stays with Tim and Sally.
Yeah, you'd think Sally would force him to shower on a daily basis.
So let's agree that he must do that. I think it's product.
It looks terrible, is what I'm saying.
Later, Theo comes home from another storyline and finds Asha passed out in the community garden. He gets Amy to call her an ambulance,
Asha, you're an ambulance!
and then she calls Dev to tip him off. As this is going on, Brody gets a scene with Ken where Ken tries to encourage Brody to read Anthony Bieber's book on the Spanish Civil War, and I'm calling it now.
Boy moment of the week.
What, we're 5 minutes into Monday? What the fuck was that about? Oh, you should also read his book about Stalingrad. And Brody's like, who the fuck do you think you're talking to?
Well, Brody makes the mistake of asking him what he's reading.
The great thing about the scene, though, was Brody basically called Daniel Osborne a twat.
In front of
Ken's
Ken.
face.
Yeah, see, that's the thing that saves the scene,
Yeah.
I think. Because that was hilarious.
The paramedics are working on Asha, concerned that she's out of her tits on booze and drugs, which Dev is quick to dismiss. As they wait at the hospital, Dev is super annoyed at Brody and accuses him over the phone of giving Asha the drugs. Sienna comes to see Dev, and after Dev shouts at her for knowing something and not telling him, she tells him that they found empty pill bottles near Asha's body, enough to finish the job. Later, he tells Bernie, who doesn't beat around the bush, and asks what Dev can't bear to think. Did Asha try to kill herself? He insists that she's wrong. If Asha was feeling like that, she would have told him.
Yeah, she tried to multiple times, Dev. Yeah. Multiple times.
Yeah, Dev thinks he's a good listener.
He's not.
And thinks if she's not saying anything to me, nothing can be wrong.
She threw a candy bar at your face, Dev.
But 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Or was it just last week? That was last week, wasn't it?
I think it was a couple of weeks.
But still, you should have clucked that something was wrong if your normally, even-keeled daughter throws candy at your face.
Oh, so straight-laced, and now she's throwing candy.
Yes. And getting drunk.
Yeah, I mean, she drinks, but
yeah,
she doesn't really get drunk.
Casually, yeah. Mm-hmm. With her friends, not by herself at work.
So it turns out that Asha is now awake and responding well to treatment, so she's out of the woods. What a relief. In the room, Asha's ashamed while Dev tries to downplay it and then fix it immediately while Bernie looks on worriedly, because Bernie kind of seems to have a better idea how these things work.
Absolutely.
He wants to know what brought all this on, blaming that Naomi woman, but it's deeper than that for Asha, and she explains how Mason's death and then Tinker's death made her feel. And then she was like spiraling, and she's felt hollowed out since then and hasn't been able to find anything good in herself.
Yeah, that job is hard enough, seeing people you don't know die. Mm-hmm. But to see two people you do know die horrific deaths
right
in front of
deaths,
you. Yeah. That can't be easy.
No. And I was kind of pissed off with the show when Becky came back, because all it seemed that we were doing was mentioning Becky's name, a character we'd never seen.
Right.
So she was just like this mysterious character, and Becky's getting mentioned, and Becky's getting mentioned. I'm like, oh, hold on a minute. Tinker died like less than 6 months ago.
Right.
And nobody's mentioned his name
in
since.
ages. Yeah.
So Asha mentioning it here, and we can agree that Tinker wasn't the best cop in the world, and
no,
probably wasn't the best character in the world, but his death should have affected the young crew.
Yeah.
In the way that Asha's describing, maybe not to this extreme, but
right.
You're seeing somebody your age or thereabouts be killed violently at work.
Right.
So Asha's seen this as the death of her friend and a co-frontline worker is obviously finding that a very personal thing that
absolutely
that nobody's really been talking about up to now. So I was glad of that.
Yes, me too.
Dev hates hearing this and insists that it was just an accident, so Asha has to spell out it was deliberate. She knew it was a mistake, though, as soon as she took the pills, and she's glad it didn't work.
Yeah.
But it was deliberate.
Yes.
Then Addie sends her a text apropos of nothing, and she insists that she doesn't want him to find out about any of this, and she makes Dev promise.
Addie's just constantly texting and sending pictures and emailing back home, all the time. Most people, they go out of the show and you hear from them
never.
Once in a great while. It was over a month before we got a mention that Peter sent a photo home or something. And then Eileen has sent one text.
Yeah.
Not to her son, but to George. She hasn't sent anything to Todd.
Well, I don't know if Todd would mention it. Because if Todd mentions it, George is going to get upset. But yeah, Addie, seriously, pal, go out and get your hole. Forget about your family for a while.
Yeah, seriously.
Then a therapist comes in and she goes through it all with her and finally explains about the abuse that she suffered on the job from racist Naomi, but says that she's had that all her life, which I think is what you were getting at the other week.
Yeah.
The therapist explains what sadness is and wonders if she's cut out to handle working as a paramedic who may be triggered by events like this in the future. Asha admits that she still feels as empty as she did. Nothing's changed. And I thought that was really powerful, because you think that this attempt,
Right.
once it fails, it's like you're over the hill.
Yeah.
And it's
not.
Of course it isn't.
No.
It's a really easy thing to jump to a conclusion. Okay, I'm still alive, and I'm glad that I'm alive, and I no longer feel like that. But it
Right.
takes more than just the failure to remedy anything. So
Yeah.
of course she still feels like that. But that was really well done, I thought. As Bernie and Dev wait outside, Brody shows up to see how Asha was doing, and Dev makes peace with him, and Brody seems genuinely pleased that Asha's going to be okay. Before he goes home for the night, Dev tells Asha that she's his heart and his world, but when the door closes, the smile on Asha's face looks like it was never there. When Dev comes home, he reveals that the hospital is worried that the pills Asha took have caused some permanent damage, and he's inconsolable. And I'm like, wait a minute, did we miss that? Where the hospital said that?
No, we didn't. The hospital obviously said that to Dev off screen at some point.
I don't think that he's making this up.
No.
But it's a strange thing to mention and then never mention again. To the
Well,
rest
they
of the week.
say, no, then the next day they say that the blood work came back and she was fine, that it hadn't done damage. So.
They're terrible at doing this.
They are.
The hospital's worried that this is going to cause a serious problem.
Right.
Oh, no, it's not. It's fine. On Wednesday, Dev has been a cheery asshole at the hospital when a Scottish doctor comes in to check on Asha, maybe to delay her getting home and to arrange a psych visit. Asha becomes maudlin at the idea of how far she's dropped since last week. Dev looks like he's had about enough of this. So at home, Dev reveals to Bernie how fucking furious he is at Asha and how he wants to give her a shake. He's so angry! And now he has to walk on eggshells around her. Well, he can't be bothered doing that. Bernie thinks that anger is fear's bodyguard, and that doesn't help. She explains how hard Asha has had it with Mason and Tinker and stuff, and Bernie goes back to the hospital and explains to Asha, who thinks that Dev hates her, where Dev's head is, and how he feels shut out. Bernie calls her the bravest girl that she knows, and she feels, I think, that she's been a little caught out that she said something that she shouldn't have said, but I thought the way that she said it was
good.
Was perfectly reasonable.
Yeah.
He's just worried that
Yeah.
you don't tell him anything.
Yeah. Which isn't true, because she keeps trying to tell him things,
sure.
and, he blocks it out because he doesn't want to hear bad things.
Back home, Ben explains to Dev that she sort of grassed Dev up. Dev is furious again, tells Benny that she's ruined everything, and he bans her from seeing Asha again.
Yeah, you can't do
I'm like,
that,
wait a
Dev.
minute,
Asha's an adult.
I'm an adult, aren't I?
Yeah.
And isn't Asha?
Yeah.
So this is kind of nothing to do with you.
Yeah, exactly.
He goes to the hospital and wakes Asha up to give her some of his curry. He says that Bernie got it wrong, and he's not super angry with her. Asha says that she would rather know the truth, so Dev admits he was angry at his own failures with her, and they're back and forth about reading the signs and concealing the signs. She says it isn't his fault, and that cheers him up. That's what he's wanting to hear. In the spirit of sharing, Asha announces that she'll be quitting being a paramedic, and Dev says that he is fine with that. On Friday, though...
It's okay if you're not fine with that, though, Dev, because, again, she's an adult.
Right.
She doesn't need your approval.
On Friday, Dev is mollycoddling Asha, who's not one fucking bit interested in anything that he has to say. He also thinks that a bit of therapy will sort her out and put her back on the front line being a paramedic again. But Asha has totally fallen out of love with the profession, and that's the end of the matter. That's the end of it.
Yes.
Back at the shop, Dev is still in a bad mood with Bernie, but when he realises he's been an asshole, he says it's because he was so scared. Back at the hospital, a nice Scottish doctor is talking to Asha about treatment, but Dev decides that he has money again and insists that they'll be going private to avoid the waiting list. Asha doesn't want him wasting his money, and that's as far as we get with that this week.
That's kind of disturbing, isn't it? Asha saying, don't waste your money on my mental health.
But again, this is one of the things that Dev just ignores.
Right.
Or chooses not to hear.
Right. And I mean, let's not forget that Asha still carries an awful lot of guilt around with her for the last time that Dev had to spend an awful lot of money on her behalf.
And presumably still doing that, because that was going to be for the rest of their lives.
Right, yes. For the rest of the lives of the internet, he has to pay to keep naked pictures of Asha off the internet. Because that never goes away. And...
Except in a soap opera.
Right, yeah.
And also, I don't
especially-
know that you can pay to do that.
Right, yeah. Especially with like AI now and deep fakes and things like that. Oh, God. It's terrifying to be alive. But anyway...
Yes.
But anyway...
It's okay because we've got shit to talk about later on, so...
Right, yes.
That cheers us up.
It does. I like that Asha is still with us,
Of course.
obviously. And there are aspects of the vulnerability of Dev that I do like and I do appreciate. I don't really like him taking shit out on Bernie, though, especially since they just got married.
No, Bernie is his punch bag for this sort of thing, his emotional punch bag.
And it's not cool. It's not
No.
cool at all. It's good that finally by the end of the week he kind of recognizes that that's what he's doing. But I still don't like to watch it.
No. I thought they did all of this really well.
I liked the callback to Peter's jigsaw puzzles, though. That was hilarious.
Right.
And it's like, Dev, where on earth in this hospital room do you think that she has enough room to put a jigsaw puzzle together?
Well, she's got a wee tray, I guess.
She's got the wee tray, but that's like a big, massive jigsaw puzzle. That's like a 250-piece jigsaw puzzle.
Wow.
You'd need it for like a table like this. Remember when we were going to do a jigsaw puzzle?
What, a month and a half ago?
Yeah.
No, I don't remember that.
It's too bad we never did that. We'll have to do that some other time for some other anniversary thing.
Charity jigsaw completion.
Yes. We couldn't find one with boats.
Needed to be a boat.
It needed to be a boat.
That was my only criteria.
We couldn't find one, even in Maine,
A 500-piece jigsaw,
of boat.
because 1,000 would have taken too long.
Yeah. And 250 may not have taken enough time.
What we should probably do is a jigsaw in between times to get an idea of how long these things take.
We should do that. I still have... Sure, we have jigsaw puzzles in the house we haven't put together yet.
No, I liked how this was played out. From the spoiler alert, last week it sounded like maybe more of the emphasis was going to be on Dev's anger. And it wasn't quite as bad as I thought it was. There was just that one scene where I think he actually yells that he's incandescent,
Yes.
which is pretty Dev.
Yes.
And he's so angry.
Yes. It was a week for big words on the street.
But mostly I thought it was very delicately handled. And,
Yeah.
and you know, I don't know, it's a really tricky topic to do justice.
Yes.
Because you need to handle it really carefully, obviously, but it also has to be believable. And I think maybe you had some reservations that this is how far Asha had gone so quickly, and I think I maybe agree to some extent. But when she was explaining it, and when she was explaining it in terms of the close personal deaths that she's experienced this year,
Right.
I felt like it added up a little bit better.
It did.
And just everything that was getting added on top of it to the horrible racist woman and the threat of the lawsuit. I'm just really pissed off that racist Naomi's kind of got away with it. Oh, well. Scratching your nose, eh? That's a tell.
That my nose is itchy.
Maybe we will hear more about this in the Talk of the Street spoiler alert.
Maybe.
Exclusively available to our friends of the podcast.
That's right.
ABC. Always be selling.
No, that doesn't work. Always be, well, I guess selling as in making cells.
There you go. Yeah. Good stuff. A great bunch of performances here all round. And a lovely Scottish doctor. What more do we want? Our next storyline is Tim's Cherry.
Oh.
This was not expected. This was
We expected it because we did spoiler alert
Well, I
last
can't
week.
keep on plugging that, so we just have to pretend that this came as a surprise. It came as a surprise on spoiler alert.
That's true.
And seeing it play out was even more surprising as it turned out.
Right, yeah. It's actually a quite interesting storyline.
Seriously.
Yeah.
So on Monday, Sally's tidying up at Kev's, which sets him off reminiscing good times and bad, the Molly Dobbs, and there are multiple mentions of the girls, which makes me think at least one of them will be coming back.
I wonder which one.
Oh. They chat about whether the girls know about Kev and Abby splitting up, and it seems that they don't. But Sally and Kev have a lovely wee tearful chat. And what I loved about this was, as much of an asshole as Kev can be and frequently is, the tears that he was crying as he and his twice ex-wife
Yeah.
are talking about how important the other one is to them
Right, yeah.
was really lovely.
It was really lovely.
Sally makes this lovely
Yeah.
somehow.
Yeah. She's good. She's good at that.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Tim has picked up Trisha at Freshco's car park, and it seems that she and Tim have a bit of a history. Back home,
They know one another.
yeah, they have
Yeah.
history.
Yeah.
Back home, Tim gives Sally his anniversary card. Dear Sally, happy anniversary from Tim. Lovely stuff. He says he's not good with words.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just a card, though.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. It's just a card.
Later on in the pub, Tyrone will say, "Oh, what did you get her?" And he says, "A card." And Tyrone goes, "Nice."
What is going on here? I mean, what is going on here?
Sometimes
If
there
all-
is no other way to express it.
If all you ever got me for our anniversary was a card, I'd probably punch you in the face.
I genuinely think that buying a card for someone you're going to see is a waste.
Yeah.
You buy cards for people that you aren't going to see.
Right.
Isn't it what cards are for?
Yeah. Or it's, it's to present the sentiment behind the gift.
So for the only thing to give is
a card.
Is the thing that's least important.
Right. And then you don't even write love Tim. You write from Tim.
Well, I'm not sure what you wrote.
No, he did. It was from.
Dear Sally. It's like when you ask me to sign cards and I actually sign my signature on them.
Right, yeah. Yes. You signed cards to the kids, Gavin Broom.
That's so funny. Am I the only one that finds that funny?
I think so.
So funny. I'm a hoot.
In your own mind.
Anyway, Sally encourages Tim to take Kev out for a pint to cheer him up, which makes her the best wife and the best ex-wife. So, Tim, Steve, Kirk, Tyrone and Kev are all able to drop everything and hang out in the pub all afternoon. They talk about the
It's a good thing there are no broken cars in Weatherfield.
No broken cars, no one needing a taxi, and no one needing to move knickers from one place to another.
That's true.
They all talk about their relationships, which means that Steve's talking about shagging Tyrone's mum. And then Trisha shows up at the pub, and the boys give Tim a hard time for cheating on Sally on their anniversary of all days. And Tim reveals that he knew Trisha in the biblical sense nearly 40 years ago.
Yeah, and Trisha is overdressed for the Rovers. Can we say that? She's overdressed for the Rovers.
Yeah, she's dressed up for a night out, isn't she?
Yeah, she's wearing like this glittery silver two-piece that is far too fancy for where she's getting a drink.
The two of them chat at the bar while the boys look on disapprovingly. They exchange numbers and she gives him a peck on the cheek as she leaves. Kev reckons Sally will be fucking furious at this. As they get drunker, they learn about Asha, and so they get all maudlin. And Kirk really does sound super depressed as he explains how he turns on the TV just to hear another human voice.
We're gonna get our.
I think we're gonna get it.
We're gonna get our Kirk depression storyline.
Finally.
Yeah, and it's weird too because like Dev comes, and to drink with them as well and stuff. And then he goes to get the next round and then takes off because he gets a call from Amy.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody there is like, what the fuck? Where the hell did Dev go? It's his round. What a selfish bastard.
Yep.
And we're all sitting here knowing why Dev left, looking at these people saying, you're going to feel like shit very soon when you find out why Dev left.
Well, they didn't know, so
Still.
there's enough that I feel bad about without feeling bad about that sort of thing. Tim gets home and Sally is, indeed, fucking furious. And she's already eaten dinner. He explains about being late because of Kev and this Trisha woman, and this makes Sally worse, and she tells Tim that he can sleep in the shed like a bad boy.
Yes.
On Wednesday,
But not like that.
Trisha shows up at the cab office with a sausage and bean pasty for Tim, and he doesn't know how to say no to that. Brian comes in and is introduced to Trisha as Brian from the sweet shop, and I think that's the second time in 2 weeks that people have referred to Brian as being that bloke that works in the sweet shop. Kev didn't seem to know Brian's name, or just knew him as Brian from the sweet shop.
Which is weird.
So why does nobody know who Brian is? It's the one with the enormous head.
Why does no one remember that Brian is a retired teacher?
Tim goes off to fix a windscreen wiper, and as they chat, Brian learns that Trisha was Tim's first crush, and she broke his heart. Then Sally comes in and pretends to be pleased when she's introduced to Trisha. Trisha rushes off, kind of gets Sally's name wrong, and Tim forgets to wipe the stupid grin off his face.
Right, yeah, and also Trisha kind of steps in it when she says, "Oh, I'm an old friend of the owner."
And Sally's like, "I'm the wife of the owner."
I'm the wife of the owner. Mm-hmm. So suck my balls.
Yes, suck my balls indeed, because I'm fucking Sally Metcalf, and Sally looks like she's worth 100 Trishas.
She is.
Tim doesn't think this is a biggie. Oh, just like our anniversary, says Sally, and she storms off. Later, Brian comes in and gets a bit of the history of Tim and Trisha, as Tim happily reveals that he was 14 when a 20-something Trisha took his cherry.
Ugh.
So not just 20, 20-something. That could be 29.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't. But
Yeah. I don't know why they're not specific at all at how old Trisha was. She's 20 odd.
Yeah.
Or she's 20 something. Or she was in her 20s.
yeah, I think they
never say.
I think they mean like 20, but it doesn't matter because 20
They don't
or
mean
20
20.
because
20 is bad enough, but I think it's worse than that.
because 20 or 29, it's terrible,
Yeah.
which Tim doesn't seem to understand.
Brian is shocked, but Tim is caught in the reverie of getting his hole off of an older woman. Tim insists he and Trish are catching up, and there's nothing naughty going on apart from pasties. He also reveals that Trisha knew he
But
was...
not that kind of pasty.
He also reveals that Trisha knew he was 14 when they had full sexual intercourse, and he credits her with teaching him a thing or two. Brian reckons that Tim was groomed and asks how he would feel if Faye got off with a 20-year-old. Tim says it's different, and he was well up for it. Later,
Yeah,
despite never...
you're being deliberately obtuse here, Tim.
I don't know that he is. I think
there's a
his
part of him that
attitude
knows.
to that... I think at this point in the story, I think his attitude is that he was the one that was chasing after her for sex, and he got it, and
Yeah.
he got pats in the back from his pals and all that sort of
Right,
stuff.
yeah.
I don't think he's certainly not looking at it from any other perspective than that.
Yeah.
Later, despite never being on the street up to now, Trisha bumps into Tim in speed dial and asks him out for a proper drink. Tim's up for it, but not around here, just as mates. Back home, Sally is still curious about who this Trisha is and wonders how special she was if Tim had never mentioned her before. Well, she popped my cherry, but she wasn't special, says Tim. Tim doesn't mention the age difference, and then he hides a text from Trisha, saying it was from Steve, and Sally does not look convinced.
Right, yes. And see, this is why I think he's being deliberately obtuse, is the fact that once Brian was shocked about the age difference, he doesn't want to tell Sally about the age
He
difference.
doesn't want to tell Sally in case she's just as shocked, because if Sally feels this way,
Right.
then that's something that
He
becomes
can't.
very important.
Yes.
On Friday, Tim is secretly texting Trisha and stops when Sally comes home, but Sally quickly catches wind of this when Trisha responds to Tim's message. And Sally isn't happy with this, and she gets unhappier when Tim insists that he isn't having an affair, but then quickly leaves. Trisha's practically living on the street by this point. She runs into Brian in Nina's roles, and he wastes no time at all in accusing her of sniffing around Tim and grooming him when he was a boy. Tim comes in and is shocked that Brian would make such accusations and insists that he wasn't groomed, it was consensual. He was a boy, yells Brian, and he implores Tim to tell Sally all about this.
Your prefrontal cortex was not fully fused yet, Tim.
Tell Sally about this. Tell her that Trisha is a fucking pedo. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
Sally's in the Rovers looking for Tim, and Glenda tells her that she heard from Brian that the two of them had been arguing about this Trisha character. So Sally storms off to sort this shite out and finds Tim at his place of work, the second place that she chose to look, and she demands to know what the fuck's going on with this Trisha pish. So Tim is forced to admit that he lost his virginity to Trisha when he was 14 and she was in her mid to late 20s. Sally throws up in her mouth a wee bit.
Just a bit.
Tim insists it was brilliant and says the age difference is probably the same between him and Sally, and that's not a problem. You can't possibly think that this is the same thing, says Sally, but he does. Back home, Sally's been doing some digging on Trisha's old posts on Face Connect book, and it seems that Brian's not the only one who thinks that Trisha should be locked up for paedophilia.
Mm-hmm.
Tim is dismissive and refuses to think of himself as a victim, and says things were different back then, and these are fond memories that Sally's trying to spoil.
And Sally says it was 1986, not 1486.
And he heads off in a huff.
I love that.
He meets Trisha in the pub and tells her it's been lovely catching up with her, but he doesn't think he wants to see her anymore, and he wishes her the best. And she leaves, sadly. And that's as far as we get with that.
Yes.
So at this point in the storyline, at the end, I absolutely agree that Tim has taken on board what Brian and Sally have been saying to him, even if he refuses to admit it to them.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of feels that this is all a bit icky now.
Yeah, and I think because Tim still has so much unresolved childhood trauma from his dad and the realization of all of the things his dad did to his mom.
Right.
And has not really dealt with any of that, really. This is just yet another thing from his childhood that he's finally realizing was traumatizing to him. And it feels like that's not exactly an easy thing for him to deal with. It was quite intriguing when Sally found that thing on the internet.
Yeah, I wasn't sure that I was happy with that. Because that kind of points to a bigger story here.
Uh-huh.
And I think, regardless of what's on the internet, this is disturbing enough as it is.
Right.
And I think it's where our focus should be.
Right.
Rather
And I
than sort of the bigger
think
picture.
I think it is where our focus should be. I think you're right with that, but I think it is also smart for the show to hint at that people who do this sort of thing.
Right. And it was a hint.
Do it more than once.
And it was a hint because it was fairly ambiguous the way it was described. It was just somebody suggesting in a 10-year-old post that Trisha should have something that she's ashamed of and should probably be in jail for.
Right.
So that, as Tim said, could be a number of things.
Right, yeah. But the fact that, she showed up, that he hadn't seen her in like years.
Right. And then she continued.
And then she kept showing up and insisting that it was innocent and everything. Didn't really feel innocent to me.
No, and I think the insinuation from her that all she was interested in was to catch up with an old friend and she respected the fact that Tim was married and all that was bullshit.
Yeah.
Because she was super upset when she left, and she was very quick to deny anything that Brian was throwing at her.
Right, yeah. But, I mean, bringing in that pasty to the...
Yeah, what are you doing?
To the taxi office, that felt like crossing a line to me.
So she presumably lives in the area
Right.
because she was picked up at the Fresco's car park.
Right.
But
Didn't
she hasn't
realize-
been on the street for years, if at all.
Right. Yeah.
Is never away from it now.
Right. It feels weird.
So she's going out of her way to
Yeah.
bump into Tim for whatever reason.
Right. It feels icky.
Feels really icky. What I think is really interesting about this is Tim's denial, I think, is believable as someone who has never looked back on that or had cause to look back on that with anything like a critical eye and just looks at it from the perspective of, I lost my virginity to a grown woman. Aren't I the luckiest man alive? Sort of thing.
Right. Yeah.
And now that he's had that challenged from Brian, who I think he knows that Brian knows what he's talking about.
Right.
And particularly from Sally, who, whether she knows what she's talking about or not, that's Sally, and he's definitely going to believe what she tells him.
Right.
He doesn't seem to have the emotional tools to work through any of this. And I think that's really interesting, that he's very ill-equipped to figure out things about this on his own. I just don't think sounds really horrible. Just don't think he has the emotional intelligence to
Right.
figure it out.
And again, that stems from unresolved childhood trauma that
Right.
he's already got from his abusive father and the lies that were told about his mother and everything.
And probably
And-
used this incident as something to cover up that incident.
Right, yes.
That this part of his life might be shit, but at least he was getting his whole with this
Right.
gorgeous
That it
older
was,
woman.
It was traumatizing to, as he believed, be abandoned by your mother.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have this older woman paying attention to you. Fill in the blanks here, you know.
Seriously.
But yeah, it's a really, I think it's a really interesting storyline, and I think so far, I think they've handled it really well.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think Tim being the main character for this is perfect.
Yes, I agree.
And the relationship that he's in now is just because Sally's so great, but you know, the relationship that he has with Sally is also great, and the aspects of their relationship with their little dress-up boxes and stuff, you know, is just so
Right.
wholesome and healthy. And then this little sort of dark bit of his past is a really interesting contrast to that. When we talked about this on the spoiler show last week, it came as a bit of a shock.
Yeah, it
that
came as
this
a bit of a
storyline
shock.
was going to happen, but
And
it's super interesting, and I'm really glad that it is.
Yeah. And I said during spoiler alert, you know, it feels almost like an apology for bungling the Addie and Courtney Boobs storyline
Right.
so badly and not realizing that everybody was going to find that gross and not sexy and funny.
Yeah. That's probably as close as they could get to showing us this happening.
Right.
But you had to have Addie being old enough to make this sort of
Yeah.
decision. And but
nearly.
even at that
Yeah.
was still pretty icky.
Yes.
That was great stuff. Our penultimate storyline is Theo No Sleeves.
Wait, we're already at our penultimate
Only 4
storyline?
storylines this week.
That's right. I should remember how, spoiler alert, last week only took 1 page.
Need to stop mentioning spoiler alert.
Got to tell the people what they're missing.
And we have. On Monday at The Undertaker's, there's been a positive sighting of Theo by Gary. And I was like, wait a minute, what, was that just this week?
Yeah,
So we ended last week with Theo going missing a couple of times.
right.
George has had about enough of this and reckons that Todd is better off without him, and insists that Todd focuses on his fucking work for a change. Later, Todd finds Theo in the community garden, and Todd is furious, but Theo has probably saved Asha's life in another storyline and isn't in the mood for this lecture, and barges by Todd, who demands to know his name. Oh, this is not a great look, Todd. This is not a great look at all.
This is the guy's complaining in the Rovers that it was Dev's round and he left without paying, sort of thing. Like, you're gonna regret this, pal.
Yeesh. Theo, though, is definitely manipulating the situation for his own benefit.
Yes, of course.
Because he could say to Todd the second that he sees him what's happened.
Right.
But
this
chooses
horrible
not
thing
to
has
say
happened.
anything.
Right, yeah.
So just so he can say, the one thing you didn't ask is how I am.
Right.
So he's never missing a trick here to make Todd feel bad.
No.
And for that, he can GTF.
That's just true.
In the cafe later, Todd learns from a tearful Amy that Theo is a hero. That kind of rhymes. So Todd goes to the bistro where George is treating Theo to a hero's disappointing meal. He gives Todd the cold shoulder until George insists that the two of them talk to each other. Todd suggests that they go home, and Theo agrees. Back home, Todd wants to talk and is keen for them to work and wants to know where Theo is on that, but Theo isn't in the mood and goes off to bed. Todd's making dinner and wearing his The Boss apron.
Yes, he's getting ready for that movie that's coming out, starring Jeremy Allen White.
When Theo gets up and announces that he's made an appointment to see a therapist and insists that he wants to make the relationship work too, he forgives Todd. Todd smiles, but then doesn't look like he knows what he's been forgiven for. On Friday, I guess Noah's dead after all. Well, we're burying him.
Yep.
Or we're burying something.
So he better be dead. Maybe we'll put one of those little bells above his grave, just in case.
Right. And Theo's off to his funeral. Todd isn't going, telling Theo that he already has 2 funerals today because George has double booked him, the stupid prick.
And Todd helps Theo with his tie in the weirdest way I have ever seen anyone help someone with their tie.
How?
From behind?
I would have to do that as well. There's no way I'm able to look at you in the face and tie a tie.
What?
I can't do it.
You can't, you have to not be looking at it in order to do it?
No, I have to do it the way that I would do it to myself.
It's like,
so to speak.
This is so weird.
No, that's absolutely right.
What is going on here?
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do it face on.
You don't know how to tie it?
Because everything's the wrong way around.
It's hilarious.
It's like I barely know how to tie somebody else's shoelaces.
Okay, I think you need to stop confessing things now.
I'm very good at tying shoelaces. Just not other people's. And tying a tie's over and under and round and, oh, imagine doing that in reverse. No thank you.
It's the same over and around, though.
But from that different perspective. If you've only ever tied somebody else's tie,
yes,
then you'd absolutely know how to do it.
Yeah.
But then you might have an issue tying your own tie.
That's true.
In Nina's roles, George asks Christina out on a date to the bistro, and Christina is very much looking forward to it. Todd comes in as she leaves, and he quickly tells George to play along with a double booking story. George agrees without question.
Yes.
And then asks Todd and Theo to double date with him and Christina later.
Yes. Theo
comes in, surprised to see George there, considering all the funerals that he's supposed to be doing today. George is a shit liar, makes his excuses and leaves.
And then Theo and Todd get cups of coffee and drink those cups of coffee.
Later, Todd runs into Billy and tells him that he's been experiencing some blood in his stools, and he can't bother Theo over this as he has enough to worry about with Noah being dead. So Billy insists on accompanying Todd to his colonoscopy appointment that's happening today, despite knowing the bother this will get Todd in. And at this point, I'll give Helen the floor.
This man just had a cup of coffee and then he's going to have a colonoscopy? He didn't do prep last night, which Theo would have noticed.
Yep.
Because when you do prep for a colonoscopy, you do not leave the toilet. You do not leave the toilet. And especially for a gay man to not understand how clean that area needs to be for something to go up his butt is just... It's so unrealistic because I know gay men. I've heard gay men talk about the preparations they do before they go on a date where they expect to have sex later. Douching their butts. So for him to have not done any prep.
Those douches, do they come in bags?
They do.
Okay.
Or, like a turkey baster will work in a pinch. This is more than
Now
you.
wash your hands. And the turkey baster.
So not only has he not done any prep for a colonoscopy, he has ingested fluids that will now be in his digestive system, blocking the camera. And also, he seems very, very precious when he's talking about this, because he says, I've been feeling really worn down, and then I found blood in my, And I'm like, you're a gay man. You are not precious about your ass. Say poop. Say feces.
They can't do that at 7:30
Say
or that.
stools. Say something. And also, he says, so they've got to put a camera up the, and it's like it's a colonoscopy. You can say colonoscopy before 7:30 in the evening on television.
We'll get letters.
Say
8 o'clock.
Colonoscopy. It's a colonoscopy. If you are going to do a serious storyline about a very serious form of cancer that is one of the cancers that people get the most and that people die of because people are precious about their assholes, you gotta be honest about this shit. Literally. I mean...
Oh, serious, yeah, sure.
People give me a hard time for being so frank about my colonoscopies and my poop and stuff. And it's like, if you have issues in any manner, shape or form with your digestive system, you learn not to be precious about these sorts of things because you could be saving other people's lives by being frank about shit. And this is just so bad. And it gets worse. It gets worse because then they walk.
Well, let me.
Okay.
Colonoscopy over. Todd and Billy go to the pub for pints.
Yes. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't know how colonoscopies are performed under the NHS. Maybe they're not anesthetized.
My mum didn't get anaesthetic before. She watched hers.
Right. And my mother, the first few times that she got them.
By the way, when I say that she watched her, she didn't sort of dislocate.
She watched it on the She watched it on the TV.
Yes.
Yes. Because there is a TV in there that the doctor uses because obviously he can't be looking up your asshole the whole time. This helps him.
Not the whole time.
This helps him or her to see where they're going and what they're up to, and so that they can take pictures later that they give you afterwards that then you can torture your husband with later on, saying, look at the inside of my ass.
You put those pictures on your bedside table. What's wrong with you?
I find the body fascinating. What is your problem? But anyway, I would love to see what your colon looks like. By the way, as a man over 50 whose mother had Crohn's disease, you should have gotten at least one by now.
Moving on.
But yeah, not only is he walking around, but they would at least...
Well, he can walk around.
And you would think that they would at least do like local anesthetic in the area. Because I've always been asleep, but I would imagine if I was awake... that would not feel good, that it would be kind of horrific to feel it going in, so to speak. So, yeah, you've just had an invasive medical procedure, and now you're going to drink alcohol.
With Billy.
But even without Billy, you're drinking alcohol when your body probably has some drugs in it, even if you weren't fully anesthetized, that make drinking a bad idea.
So I posted the photograph of Todd taking a swig from his pint.
Uh-huh.
See, there's nothing like that post-colonoscopy pint, to which Chris Tinsley said, one of the great pints, up there with the airport pint. And it's true.
I mean,
The order is colonoscopy, airport, any sunny Friday, every other pint.
I mean, don't get me wrong. After every one of mine, we go and get breakfast because I'm starving.
Yeah, because you haven't eaten anything.
Because I haven't eaten anything for like over 24 hours, which is something that Todd should have done, because even if he wasn't anesthetized, he needed to get cleaned out. You don't want to stick something up your ass if you haven't cleaned yourself out.
And if we've learned nothing else from this podcast. All right. Theo comes in, seeing them all cozy like, and gives Todd a hard time about not being rushed off his feet at all, and then gets super suspicious when Billy doesn't want another pint and leaves instead.
He's got a meeting to go
Claiming
to.
to have a parish support group to run, stinking a beer. Theo wants to know what they were talking about. Todd says it was nothing that nips off for a post-colonoscopy shite. Noel's funeral passed without incident, it seems, and Todd doesn't appreciate Todd's glib tone when they speak about it.
I just assumed that he had to pee because there's no way he needs to shit.
He harps on about Billy and Todd chatting again, and rather than just admit what was up, Todd passes over it and says that they've been invited to go double dating with George and Christina at the Bistro. At the Bistro, Christina doesn't think much of Theo, but when he and Todd arrive, Theo pretends to be cool with all this, and even manages to be happy when George invites Billy to join them.
Right, yeah, and Todd's like, oh, there's not enough room. And Theo's like, oh, yes, there is.
Because it's been a whole 6 hours since Billy's had an alcoholic drink.
And why is he eating on his own?
Because nobody likes him.
Where's Summer?
I don't know.
Why not?
Theo asks Todd and Billy what they were talking about earlier and just doesn't let it go and keeps on asking and gets frustrated when they can't remember and makes a big deal about it. Oh, for fuck's sake, says Christina, will you let it go? Todd sticks up for Theo, though, accuses Christina of insulting his partner, and they both leave. Theo doesn't look embarrassed in the slightest.
No.
Quite the opposite, in fact. He's horny as fuck, and he sends Todd off to prepare for some sexual shenanigans post-colonoscopy.
Post-colonoscopy! That man is not having sex.
Todd goes off to do that and leaves his phone, allowing Theo to see Billy's text, hoping that Todd's all right. So what is it? It's colonoscopy, pint, some Jaeger bombs, kebab, anal sex. Just a regular Friday.
Looked like he was having a salad, which seems responsible.
Todd?
Yeah, at the Bistro.
Todd's
Do
having
they
kebabs.
They don't have kebabs at the Bistro, do they?
Maybe it's a joke, Helen.
But
There's always a chance.
None of this is realistic at all for someone who before, during, and after a colonoscopy. And also, say colonoscopy. Don't say stick a camera up my you-know-what. You're an adult man, Todd.
It could be
Use
worse.
big words.
It could be a camera down as you know what.
Yeah. I've had that where it goes up and down at the same time.
Oh, that's not the down I was talking about.
Oh, well.
And I would hope to God that you've not had a camera down there.
Where are you talking about?
The penis.
Oh, well, I don't have one of those, so
Which
it's fine.
Which is why when you admit to having, I'm like, wait a minute. Really?
Why would they stick a camera up your penis?
Not up it, down it.
How would they get it in it? Like this way? This way?
That way.
Why would they even do that?
To check out the insides of it and stuff. Cameras go down there as well, by the way.
Well, that's
enough of this. Enough of this.
that's one thing. But yes, you can have an endoscopy and a colonoscopy at the same time.
It's a race.
I'm living proof.
It's like the digging the Channel Tunnel from England and France.
Here's England, and here's France.
I think it's the other way around. And you will never know which way I mean.
I think you can assume.
Well, I mean, I agree. The whole colonoscopy idea of it. The fact that Todd suddenly has a cancer scare is very much out of the blue. And the fact that the colonoscopy...
In fairness, that's how it tends to happen.
Right, is very much out of the blue as well. He went to see Dr. Gadas, and now he's got a colonoscopy, and hasn't had to do any prep for it, and it's right now. I'm dressed for work, and I've got to go and get a colonoscopy that I'm getting done on my lunch hour, basically, is what it sounds like.
Well, it seems like he's taken the day off because George is really confused.
People definitely get dressed for work when they've taken the day off.
Well, no, because he doesn't want Theo to know that he's taken the day
But
off.
why doesn't he want Theo to know?
Because
he doesn't care about Noah and his funeral, and all he needs to say to avoid all of this is, I need to go to the doctors or I need to go to the hospital to get a colonoscopy. So,
right, yes. I think
but I'm sure it'll be fine. Away and go and enjoy Noah's funeral. Try not to punch anybody.
Right, yeah. I think it's funny, Dr. Gaddis saying, oh, I'm sure it's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You have blood in your stools? Sure, it's nothing. But we'll do a colonoscopy just in case.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Your arm's falling off? I'm sure it's nothing. We'll run some tests.
Yeah.
Oh, but Theo is just so fucking much work.
I'm glad that Christina called him out on
to
it.
his face.
To his face. And I'm glad that, like, behind closed doors, George has said, well, is this all really worth it?
That's the second time George has said that.
Yeah.
Is this worth it?
Christina's starting to grow on me.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, I've always kind of liked her as, being the naughty, blousy woman, but being, starting to become like a person of the street.
Yeah, and getting
It's
hooked
kinda
up
nice.
with George really helps.
Yeah, and just like talking to people in Nina's roles, it was just really nice. Just having a conversation with Leanne and Bernie about some show that they watch, which Kevin Costner is in, I guess. No, not Kevin Costner, the other guy from Yellowstone, the younger guy.
His son, Kobe or something like that?
Right, I think the guy who plays his son on Yellowstone, not his actual son. But still, it's nice to see her in a scene like that where she's talking to other women and it seems normal, and she's not trying to steal their man or their money or both.
But the fact that Theo is sitting there surrounded by other people.
Yeah.
Quizzing Todd and Billy about this.
Yeah.
And not giving up on it.
Right.
Continuing to, and even when he gets called out about it, he still will not let it go. And
the hilarious thing is we all know what it was. And if Todd said something about, I had to go and have a colonoscopy at the dinner table, it might be inappropriate.
Yeah. Don't order the beef olives. But the beef olives a thing here?
No. Is that olive stuffed with beef, or
No,
is it beef stuffed with olive?
It's sausage meat. Shaped like a sausage.
With olives stuck in it?
No, wrapped in a piece of beef, a slice of beef.
So where do the olives come in?
I don't know why it's called a beef olive.
Because I guess maybe it looks like an olive, because it's like a piece of meat,
That's
like
not
wrapped
what it
in
looks
other
like.
meat. It looks like a butthole, doesn't it?
No, it looks like a jobby. That's what it looks like.
That would have been my second guess.
Where was I going with this?
I don't know.
No, it was Theo's reaction to being called out. He just grins.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
At Christina. He's so sociopathic. Is that sociopathy or it's something?
Yeah, because it's the whole Kubrick stare again. It's like he's grinning. Yes, just like that. He's grinning because if he didn't grin, he would be lunging over that table and throttling her.
Yeah. And I think she knows that.
Yeah.
And she doesn't care.
No. Which is why I like her.
Yeah, this is a very vital role that she's playing here. And she's a great character for it.
Absolutely.
She's his nemesis.
Yes.
I do like that.
Yes. She makes a much better nemesis than Billy.
But, okay, we need to talk about Billy here, because what the fuck is he playing at? Because he knows the very tentative relationship that Theo and Todd have. And
Does he?
And how Theo is super possessive, despite Todd insisting otherwise. Billy's had plenty experience of witnessing this, and yet he still insists that he's going to be the one to go to the hospital, and yet he still goes to the pub afterwards for a drink, and yet he still agrees to join them at the table, and he still insists on sending a text to Todd after that whole horrible business. It's like, just stay out of it, Billy.
It does feel like, I mean, if you had a friend who had to go and get something like this done and didn't have anybody to go with them, you'd probably volunteer to go with them. I don't mind that for Billy.
If that person's partner knew or thought that I was interfering in the relationship, then I think I probably wouldn't. I think I'd say, look, I would love to go and be there for you, but the optics of this aren't great as far as your partner are concerned.
I don't know, Billy, if Billy necessarily understands that Theo sees him as a threat.
Theo's basically said it to him.
Right, and he says to Theo, "Oh, that's ridiculous. I'm not a threat," and he thinks that's enough.
I don't know.
I don't know.
But Billy needs to be better at people than he is.
Right, and you'd think with his profession he would be really good at people.
You'd think so. Our final storyline tonight is Sucks to be a Webster. On Wednesday, Toya is taking delivery of Ronnie's birthday cake for a do at the Bistro. Debbie is over the fucking moon with it. Kev and Abby show up,
It's a rum cake.
much to Debbie's rage, but Ronnie insists that it's his night, and it's important to Kev to remain friends with Abby. Carl and the Baileys arrive with Ollie, who doesn't look weirdly at Toya all episode. However, he does say, did I mention this?
He says,
I don't think I do mention it in the notes, so we can talk about it now.
Right. He says at one point, talking about his grandmother.
She was a tough woman.
Yes. He says, as the Yanks say, and first of all, offensive.
Is it? It's not offensive, is it?
I'm offended. I don't like being referred to as a Yank. It just,
Really?
yeah. Well, I guess that's because I'm a Red Sox fan and it's too close to Yankee. But anyway, he says in the worst American accent. I don't even know what part of America he thinks he's talking from.
The middle.
She was a strong cup of coffee. This is not a saying that Americans say. This is not something that Americans say about anyone or anything. Nobody says she was a strong cup of coffee.
She's what Yanks would call a strong cup of coffee. 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 A strong cup of coffee.
That's so bad. You know what they might say? They might say she's a brick house.
Would they?
Yeah.
I think I've heard that about as many times as I've heard a strong cup of coffee.
Really? Because there's a whole song about her being a brick house. She's mighty, mighty, letting it all hang out. But anyway, and even that, you would have to go back to the 70s to hear somebody call somebody a brick house. But where does this... Who's writing this? And have they been to America? Have they spoken to an American in their life?
Have they ordered a strong cup of coffee?
Right. Because this is not something we say.
Speaking on behalf of all Americans.
Speaking on behalf of all Americans.
All Yanks.
And I bite my tongue an awful lot.
Do you?
When one Colson Smith on his podcast was not able to correctly pronounce Talladega Nights.
He can barely pronounce his own name.
I I did not write angry notes and letters. I did not email him directly. I complained to you.
You've mentioned it on the podcast for sure, though.
And that's it. When on the Great British Baking Show, they decided to make s'mores out of artisan marshmallows and whatever other shit they put on there, and then used little tiny blowtorches to make s'mores. I grumbled with my American friends, but I did not write angry poison letters to Paul Hollywood. Not about that anyway.
No.
But this, I'm putting my foot down.
You were told to stop doing that, by the way.
He deserved it. He knows what he did. But you can't put words in our mouths. We say a lot of stupid shit in this country that you can directly quote us about. And we can say, yeah, fair enough. But don't start creating things that you think that we say, or that you could say, oh, we're just going to make Ollie say this and say that this is an Americanism and nobody's going to notice. I noticed. How dare you?
They've done this a few times because I had George speaking in an American accent a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, but he said he didn't.
Something cowboyish, I think, wasn't it?
Right, yeah, which is fine. Because this is the land of the cowboys.
I am determined now, though. I'm giving up on Fortnite. But I am going to introduce into the American lexicon a strong cup of coffee to mean a strong-willed woman. Watch this space.
And I will divorce you.
What I'm really interested in here is Ollie is the creepiest fucker we've had for a little while. There's been creepier, but he's the creepiest, I think, at the moment. And we've wondered and we've chatted about what's his deal here?
Right.
Why is he so creepy? Why is he so interested in... Because he seemed to be very interested in Swain, if you remember.
Yeah.
And then he was very interested in Toya. And my view... Was it on the flagship or was it on one of the other podcasts? I can't remember. My view was that this has got something to do with Eva cakes.
Yeah, and I said it has something to do with Toya never getting punished for killing Imran.
You thought maybe it's someone related to
Imran,
or
yeah.
whatever.
Let's put a hit out on Toya.
Well, Lauren has commented on Twitter to say, I'm even more convinced now that he's talking about Mrs. Doyle, a.k.a. Eva's mother-in-law, making him Eva's stepson. And then the little sister mention a couple of weeks ago also made me think of Susie. So I think I might have been onto something here. I think the Eva Cakes connection it's possible. But then that doesn't explain why he's so creepy.
Maybe he's just creepy.
You know what? Maybe he's not creepy at all. Maybe he's not meant to be creepy.
Maybe it's just because the way that he's presented. Like the movie that we watched last weekend, Good Boy, how the director in the featurette after the movie was talking about misdirection and how the dog was never in peril, and he made it look like the dog was in peril by showing a shot of the dog and then a shot of something scary.
Well, the dog
that the dog never saw. That the dog never saw. And so maybe this is it. Maybe we just think he's got to be creepy because he's dating Dee Dee.
Well, no, he's behaving creepily, but maybe he's not meant to be. Or maybe
he's just awkward.
Carl is seated between James and Abby. Debbie is pissed off that
Which
Kev
is awkward.
is still carrying a torch for Abby and tells him to grow up here. And then, I've made a testicle metaphor here.
Yes.
Meanwhile, chat has turned to Germany and everyone seems super keen to know if Carl has a string of Fräuleins back in Essen. Privately, James tries to arrange getting his hole, but Carl knocks him back as he's busy with Debbie. Not like that, though. Ronnie suggests that the evening was a trial run to see if everyone can get on at the wedding, and at this, Alfie throws his champagne flute on the floor, and Abby and Kev argue about him being there in the first place, which gets right on Debbie's tits, and she takes it out on Toya, who's a bit slow in the scene with a bucket and mop. Ronnie tries to propose a toast as Debbie buggers off to get the mop herself. In the office, Abby and Debbie continue hostilities, Abby goes through the I owe Kev so much story, while Debbie reprises, why does it have to be Carl? Abby insists that she and Carl are in love. Debbie just doesn't think Abby's good enough. Good enough for Kev, but not good enough for Carl, eh? Says Abby.
Yeah,
and
explain
that
that one.
Debbie up.
Explain that one, Debs.
Jack gets Alfie his tablet and then gets his own phone, and this will become important.
Later.
Meanwhile,
Because for some reason.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Debbie tells Kev to lawyer up, warning him that Abby has a nasty streak, and Abby sees them chatting at the bar and assumes that Debbie is grassing them up, and she sends a text saying that Kev knows about us, but she sends it to Kev's fucking phone. She summons Carl outside and they try to hatch a plan to get Kev's phone off of him. Kev nips off for a shite and Carl is able to get into his phone that he's left on the table and delete the message. Phew. But as the Bistro are singing Happy Birthday, Kev is filming Nick bringing out the cake on Alfie's tablet. And for some reason, Alfie's tablet gets Kev's text messages.
Yeah, why?
And they don't delete across devices.
Why? Why would you want your text messages on your child's tablet where your child can read it?
Alfie, I don't think can read.
No, but still.
My texts on my phone appear on my Mac and appear on my MacBook.
Yes.
If I delete a text on my MacBook,
it deletes
it everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
because that's how devices work.
Right.
Yes. So it's not just Americans and colonoscopies that the show gets wrong.
No, tech as well.
Yes.
Or SMS.
Because plot.
Kev bolts out of his chair. The cake goes flying, and he demands to know what the fuck Carl's been doing with his missus. He slugs Carl before James breaks it up. Carl tells Kev his marriage was dead, which nearly gets another punch in the face. Nick threatens to call the cops, so Kev leaves, pursued by Abby, which leaves James wondering what sort of prick does that to his own brother. Privately, James reveals how angry he is with Carl and correctly guesses that Abby has no idea about them. Carl says that he thinks that he wants to be with Abby. Brilliant, says James, and he wonders if Abby deserves to know the whole truth.
Yeah.
Or the truth about the whole. Meanwhile, Abby tells Kev that she was going to break the news gently that she'd been fucking his brother and confesses that it started when Kev lied about the cancer. But she doesn't think that was the whole reason. She thinks that they've been unhappy for a while. Kev says he still loves her and thinks that they can get past this, but she says that she no longer loves him and she loves Carl now. Kev changes his tune rather dramatically.
Yes.
Tells her that Carl doesn't have a heart and will dump her as soon as he gets a chance, and then tells her to pack her bags. Jack catches wind of this and tells Abby that he never wants to see her again, and then probably calls her a whore. Kev remembers to have a go at Abby about being a waster junkie, and then chucks her out. In room 101, Carl's on his bed when he gets a text from Abby saying that Kev's chucked her out, and Alfie's been chucked out too, and they're on their way. Carl looks like he'd rather that they didn't.
That's true.
Abby is keen that everything can be out in the open now and then checks that this is still what Carl wants because she's given up everything for him. He says it is, but his fingers are crossed behind his back. Back home, Kev asks Debbie if she knew about this and did she see anything suspicious at the hotel, and Debbie denies all knowledge. You're the only one I can trust now, says Kev. So I think this is bringing to the end my Abby collection. I thought we'd get some Abbies out of him, angry Abbies out of him, but we didn't.
Not yet.
On Friday, Abby's checking out at the Rape Hotel and suffers Debbie's wrath on the way out, accusing her of ruining lives for a bunk-up. Abby insists again that
Right in front of Alfie, Debbie says all of these things.
Yes. Abby insists that she and Carol are in love. Meanwhile, Jack is destroying evidence of Abby around the house and has decided that his dad was right all along and all women are whores. She's concerned when she sees Jack eating crisps on his way to school.
And an energy drink.
But Jack maintains that he hates her and her whorish ways and tells her to fuck off. So Abby goes to see Kev to give him a hard time about Jack eating crisps. But Kev isn't in the mood to listen to this pish, takes her keys off of her and flings her out, saying that Jack has nothing to do with her anymore. She informs him that she and Carl will be moving away. Get out, you cow. So she meets up with Carl and Nina's Rolls to tell him about this, but not for long because Benny comes in to tell Abby that Kev's black bagged her and all her shit's been thrown out on the street. Abby's favourite red bra is hanging from the gutter, which
Hilarious.
a passing George fetches. Kev tells them that he'll kill them if they show up at the house again, and then throws her favourite mug onto the cobbles where it smashes. She doesn't have much stuff, though.
No.
She's been in that house for years and she's got like one bag's worth. That seems to be it.
Well, I mean, he did chuck out her favorite mug, which shatters in a million pieces, that yellow one. But other than that, you'd think that there would be more Alfie stuff, but maybe Kev doesn't want to throw Alfie's toys onto the street necessarily.
Yeah, he's not a monster.
No.
Well, Kev goes to the Rovers and gets chatting to a friendly Glenda, who sends him through the back for a cuppa. Once there, he misreads her sympathy.
Oh, and it's so gross.
And her reaching for a mug, and he makes a move on her. Like, my eyes!
Boo! Stay away from our Glenda.
He quickly realises his error and makes a swift exit.
Oh,
Meanwhile,
so gross.
Carl isn't too thrilled that his cosy room 101 been full of Abby's shit and turned into a creche, and nor is he keen on getting his ear nipped about getting a house for the three of them away from here. He insists that he needs to be around for Debbie. I'm only surprised that she hasn't thrown him out too, because he's still staying at her hotel after all.
Yes.
Kev heads off to Speed Dial now to have a crack at Leanne or get a curry. He thinks that he was the one who pushed Abby away. Tim, who doesn't accept that he was groomed in another storyline, doesn't think that that's justification. Kev urges Tim and Leanne to tell their loved ones what they mean to them. Leanne doesn't know who to tell. Debbie.
It's funny though, because like Kev is asking advice from Leanne about when your sibling steals your partner.
Yeah.
And
hello.
And it's funny. It's funny that there are two of them to commiserate with one another.
Right.
They could almost start a club.
Yes, they can. Debbie goes to see Kev at home and unfortunately lets it slip that she knew about Carl and Abby for about a week. Kev doesn't react well to this, and a passing Carl and Abby witness him throwing Debbie out. You see me coming? You cross the street, he says. Everyone does that anyway. Debbie, though, is distraught, accusing Abby of destroying her family, just like she destroys everything else that she touches. Rotten hell, ya bitch. And that is how we end this week's episodes.
Yes.
I'm glad, so glad that this is finally out. This has been going on for way too long.
Yeah, far too long. I'm disappointed that James hasn't told Abby yet.
Not yet.
He's going to, though.
But absolutely.
He'd better. Because
I want Tracy to reveal something in the Rovers about this. Damn it.
maybe that's what's going to happen. Maybe James will announce to everyone in the Rovers that he and Carl have been, having sex. In the Rover, or not in the Rovers. Yeah, they haven't been having sex in the Rovers.
Not in the Rovers.
No. Do they still rent rooms out at the Rovers? They haven't really talked about that in ages. There's nobody living up there.
Yes. It was a B&B, but it was Jenny's B&B.
Right, yeah.
And it was Jenny's B&B with Johnny.
But those rooms still exist. I'm surprised that they haven't rented them out, because Kit, I think, was the last one living in one of them.
Yeah. But
I think is Glenda living back in Jenny's old room now? Is she living in the back?
Wait a minute, did she not get George's house? She might have got George's
Why
house.
is no one living in George's house?
I think Glenda is now.
No, I think she's living in the Rovers still. I think she's living in the back.
Let's see what Corripedia says about this.
Where is Glenda living now?
She is. She's staying at George's. 2 Conifer Avenue, Oak Hill.
Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill.
I think it's Oak Hill.
Are you sure about that?
Do you want me to hit it again?
No, I don't. It is funny though, because after a while it sounds like Oat Kill.
Kill.
Oat Kill.
So yeah, so Glenda's staying at George's house.
Yeah. So there's...
She's staying in that big, massive house on her own.
Right. So there's nobody living
On a
in the
barmaid
Rovers.
wage.
Nobody's... Well, it's not like she has to pay rent or
She's
anything.
got to heat it
Yeah, it's summertime. It's fine.
in Manchester.
Global warming. Yeah, so that means that nobody is living in the Rovers right now. The
No, I don't
Rovers,
think so.
a place where that has been broken into multiple times. I can kind of understand why Glenda wouldn't want to live there anymore, considering that she was assaulted. Well, yeah, you forget about that.
So Kev has reacted in just the way that Kev would be expected to react.
Right? Yes. First, oh poor me. Oh poor me.
I'll take you back.
I'll take you back. Please take me back.
I won't cast it up to you, I promise.
Yeah, which we know is a lie because he's constantly casting things up to her.
And then when that's not on the cards,
Right. Attack. Yeah. He's not a good person, our Kev.
No. Although the sight of him standing at the window throwing her shit out was quite funny.
Yeah. And then him like sitting there at Speed Doll looking so sad and old and tired.
A sad wee monkey.
Yay. Sad wee old monkey. Mourning the loss of Jane Goodall.
And people continuing to say to him that there are plenty of other fish in the sea.
I don't think so.
No. I think those waters have been over-farmed slightly.
Yes. I feel like that ship has sailed. The
It's
fact
maybe-
that he thought he had a chance with Glenda. Shame on you, Kev. Shame on you. You keep your hands to yourself around her.
I mean, the way that they portrayed it with Glenda reaching for a cup and she's been... This is it, though. This is a bit that constantly frustrates. A woman can't show a man kindness
Right.
without having some kind of motive of
Right. Yes.
wanting to get into his pants or
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
No, she
If
just
she's-
didn't want you to get drunk in the pub
Right.
and get into fights.
Right.
So go through the back and get a cup of tea and I'll come chat to you
Yeah.
and make sure you're okay. And
Yeah.
she handles it very well. And
She
she handles
does.
it very well when she's talking to Debbie about it later.
Right. Yeah.
She's just playing it down and how embarrassed Kev was about it. And Kev
Yeah.
was embarrassed
He
about
was
it.
embarrassed about it.
But that
Seriously.
that was the longest split second ever when he goes, "Ah."
I'd rather talk about Todd's poop.
Clearly. Do you feel sorry for Abby at all here?
There's a part of me that feels sorry for Abby because I know Carl is just going to dump her.
Yes.
So there's a part of me that feels sorry for her because she was kind of manipulated into this relationship by him. You know, it takes two to tango, but she pretty consistently pushed him away enough times for him to the point where he should have backed off instead of continuing to persist. And I hate when shows do this because what it does is it teaches men that if they keep at it, if they keep annoying women and stalking them and constantly asking them out, they'll eventually wear them down.
A great phrase.
This is not reality.
Oh, I wore her down.
God. So there's an aspect of this that I feel bad for Abby, but overall, I'm just happy that this relationship has ended because I have not approved of her being with Kev from the very beginning.
No, we've been fairly consistent on that.
I feel like I've been quite clear about that.
Yeah.
And I don't feel bad for Kev because he's Kev. He's a terrible person.
Yeah, and I don't feel bad for Carol because this is what Carol seems to do.
Yeah.
And doesn't care how he does it or who he does it with.
And it's funny because Debbie and Kev seem to be trying to say that to Abby. And Abby doesn't want to hear it because she feels like it's ulterior motives. And with Kev, I'm sure it is ulterior motives.
Well, the way both of them are saying it to her, though,
Yeah.
it's just going to get her back up, which is what it's done.
Right, exactly.
So she refuses to listen to it.
Yeah.
I think the writing's on the wall with the number of times that Abby's saying that she and Carl are in love, and the number of times that she's now checking to make sure where his head's at with all this. And he's sort of reticent to reply positive to it, and looks super pissed off at the prospect of having a kid in his life.
Right.
Yeah, this is all going to end very badly for her, and it's probably going to end very badly for her fairly soon.
Yeah. Yeah, as soon as she finds out that he's also been having sex with James, especially considering how he guilted her about the fact that she had sex with her own husband. I think that's going to be probably the most devastating thing for her.
It's Debbie I feel sorry for, and while she has Ronnie in his magnificent arms, she needs her brother. Right or for wrong, it's family. She needs for what she's got coming ahead for her. She needs Kev, and
she does need Kev.
She and Kev will resolve this.
This will get resolved.
But God, I was so sorry for her at the end, and she's so angry with Abby for Abby's sort of destroyed for the moment what she needed, and she went in both barrels with Abby, saying that this is what you destroy relationships and your partners and your children. And it was the mention of the children because there's
let's not forget
the twins Romulus and Remus,
and Seb is dead,
right? So
so you're really kicking Abby where it hurts. The whole partner thing. I don't think she gives a fuck. But you mentioned her kids, because there was that really brief dalliance she had with Peter, but other than that, has she had
I
a
thought
romantic?
She and Peter were actually pretty decent together.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Living on the boat,
right?
The street,
right? I just thought that Peter and Carla were better, and then Peter left and ruined it. But yeah, most of the storylines we've had of Abby, it's her motherhood more than her partnerhood, for lack of a better word, that has been really the focus. So, and I guess, do we count Imran? It was just a one-night stand.
Really. Yeah.
Which was weird.
And I didn't show Imran in the greatest of lights.
No, because he knew that she was fragile.
And he was with Toya at the time.
Right.
And we liked them together.
Yeah, we did.
Anyway.
I miss Imran.
Well, that was the week that was Coronation Street. Helen, what was your moment of the week?
Oh, goodness. Is it Nick with the cake?
No. No, it isn't. I try and make this your moment of the week as much as possible, but I must have a veto. It's one of two things for me.
What are the two things?
It's either the chat of Kev and Sally together, which was lovely, or it was the accusations of Brian to Trisha, because I thought Brian was
very good.
Was a great defender.
Yeah,
of
let's
his
give it to
there.
Brian. We don't give it to Brian very often.
No.
And I'd rather give it to Brian than Kev.
Fair enough. That is our
moment of the week.
Moment of the week.
And he was great.
He was good in that. Yeah, he was good in that whole storyline.
He was not letting go, and he's defending his friend, and he's calling out this wrong where he sees it, and he's not being kowtowed by it.
No.
It was great stuff. And we've already called the boring moment of the week, haven't we?
Yeah, I mean, even though I kind of liked that scene because of Brody bad-mouthing Daniel, Ken droning on about dry old history books. Yes, that's definitely
boring moment of the week.
I like books, but Ken makes me hate books. And Daniel.
Yeah.
Yay!
All right, let's see what our Twitter followers have been thinking about this week's episodes and give them the choice to rate it either as yay, meh, or zzz, depending on their preferences. And this week, wow,
Uh-oh.
This week looks like a swallow week. Zzz, 17.2%. Meh, 24.1%. And yay, 58.6%.
Interesting. You know, I've got to say, even though I couldn't really think of a moment of the week, that's because while it was good, there wasn't anything that stuck out to me. I thought that all of the storylines were good. And the whole, finally, the resolution with the whole Kev and Abby thing. Yeah, I can see that. I didn't hate this week. Well, except, of course, for them getting colonoscopies wrong and putting words in the mouths of Americans.
Noted. Anne says, I liked this week. The Bistro affair reveal and the close out the window scenes were both corrie at its best. Can't wait for Abby to find out about James. Only downer was Theo. If only Todd had pulled that tie tighter today. Well said, Anne.
Yeah.
Tend to agree. But we don't let those views and those opinions sway our scores, Helen. So tell me, what score are you giving the show out of 10 for this week?
5.5.
That's down from the previous couple of weeks for you.
Right, yes, because the previous couple of weeks didn't get colonoscopies wrong.
I'm giving this a good old 7.
Oh.
I thought this was a really good week. I really enjoyed the storylines. I thought the introduction of the Tim grooming story was fantastic.
Yes.
I thought the Asha's suicide attempt and aftermath was also very well done. We got the reveal of the affair, and like it or lump it, the colonoscopy stuff has given us plenty to talk about. So I think the show, actually, you know what? 7.5.
How dare
It's
you?
a 7.5 for me this
How
week.
dare you? I'm going to pull out my colonoscopy pictures now and put them right over your head.
I'm surprised they're
in the
not on
bedroom.
that fucking corkboard. Give it time. All right, we'll wrap this one up then for this week. This episode was brought to you with thanks to our friends of the podcast. Daisy, French Helen, Pickles, DT, Wendy, Noel, Canadian Helen, Christy, Shandy, English Victoria, Aurora Yvonne, Heather Westerfield, Russell Whiting, Jackie B, Brittany Porter, Laurie Anna, Tina, Stephen, Leah, Tara J, Fiona B, Canadian Jennifer, Josephina Tingy, Anne Greenwood, Trish R, Sarah Purbrick, Ali Q, Hunker Munker, Darren, the artist formerly known as Seal My Fridge, Pamela, Marge JT, Tom Ambrose, Christopher Anstey, Terry in LA, Joe T, Corey Dales, Matthew McKenney, Ozzy Alley,
Oi, oi, oi.
Welsh Emma, Matthew S, and Rachel B. Thank you very much for your support, folks. We very much appreciate it. If you've ever had a pint better than the post-colonoscopy pint, write to tell us about it. We're the talkofthestreet@gmail.com, and we're at Corrie Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Threads and Blue Sky, or you can reach us the old-fashioned way, the Talk of the Street, P.O. Box 12, Eaton Rapids, Michigan, 48827. Our spoiler show will be available shortly after this one, and in October's classics we're talking about episode 970. Get access to this exclusive content by becoming a friend of the podcast at ko-fi.com/the Talk of the Street, patreon.com/the Talk of the Street, or youtube.com/the Talk of the Street podcast. Check out voggle.co.uk for links to our merch store, YouTube channel and blog. And if you're so inclined, please leave a rating and a review on the iTunes of your podcast provider of choice. And be sure to check out our pop culture sister podcast, The List of Lists.
He really was a very good boy.
Thanks for making it to the end of another episode, and we will be back next week with more
Our Talk of the Street.
The Talk of the Street.
Bye.
Cheerio.